Thanks so much, Greg. Well, I'm privileged to sit down with two people who are likely very familiar to all of you, Ron and Ann Mainse. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you, Cheryl.
Thanks, Cheryl.
It's a privilege to be here.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's been a rough couple weeks, and you probably haven't even caught your breath yet. You just interned your dad on 2 days ago, Monday. You had driving back yesterday, and then here you are today. So tell me how you're doing.
Well, it has been quite a couple of weeks. The last little while, Reynold and I would spend the nights overnight in the hospital with Dad, and I had the privilege of being there that last night. And the last words he was able to speak. After that, it got to mumbles and then stopped. But the last words I remember were, "I love you." Mm-hmm. And so that's representative of who Dad was and still is, because he was all about love. And I think one of the articles, maybe with the National Post, that after Dad passed, he was called a hero of love. And so that's Dad. And he just loved people so much, and he wanted them to know the love of God, and that was his heartbeat. And so it's been, difficult, but we certainly know he's rejoicing. And the celebration time last Saturday was a real celebration, because that's what he wanted. And so we rejoice with him.
We saw the strength of him living on in all of you as you got up to speak, and so encouraged by that. So thank you. And what a great legacy. You think about, so many people have regrets. My last words with my father were angry, and then I didn't know they were going to die. And that was the last words that you're going to remember forever. It just speaks to the man that he was. And so how beautiful. And this love word is what you committed your lives to following. So your ministry, Heart to Heart Marriage and Family Ministries, is part of the David Mainse Memorial Fund. Ron, you're the president and you're the co-director. Tell me why you are so passionate about marriage.
Well, love, okay. Dad exhibited that in his marriage. He passed it down to us, and by God's grace, we've passed that on to our children, and two of our three are married now. But there's such a need in marriages today that are either falling apart, or there's just that lack of love. And our vision at Heart to Heart is to see every marriage become a loving union that creates a safe family haven, building a legacy of hope for future generations. And we're recipients of the legacy from Dad and his father. Right. And we want to continue. If there's anything that we've learned and that Dad has passed down to us that we could pass on to others, we want to just sow into people's marriages and create that legacy for their future generations as well.
As you've already heard so far in the program, with the different children, Dad's kids, and the ministries that the Lord has led them to establish, it's been about sharing the love of Jesus. And at Heart to Heart, what we do is, and I know you said at the beginning of the program, you want to get back to the basics, get back to what the DNA is of this ministry. And what really Jesus has called us to do is to share his love in a broader way. And so at Heart to Heart, we're bringing the love of God just closer to home. We're saying, if you want a strong marriage, if you want a marriage that not only survives, but thrives and grows and is good and gets better all the time and models what marriage can be for your children, it has to start with a foundation of God's love between the two of you. And that's agape love. That is sacrificial love. That is looking out for the best interests of your spouse, not necessarily yourself. And so that's part of what we share at Heart to Heart. We do marriage seminars in churches, and we just love doing that and seeing people up close and personal and sharing from God's word and how you can have a good, strong marriage that your children will benefit from, and your home will be a safe place for them to grow.
And only 1 in 5 couples actually do something like attending something for marriage enrichment during the course of their marriage. And so we want to see that go higher.
Yes.
And so the seminars is one of the main activities that we do. We go out and speak to groups of people and just inspire them with marriage as God intended. In fact, I think we have a little video, a little bit about what we do at Heart to Heart.
Okay, let's take a look at that video.
This workshop has been really, really good at forcing us to talk and discuss things that are little annoyances to each other that fester every day, and really good spiritual insights into a lot of things and a lot of problems that people go through. So I'm enjoying this immensely, and I highly encourage everybody to take part in something like this whenever you can.
We're happy to be here at this Heart to Heart marriage seminar. We just celebrated 2 years of wedded bliss. Really enjoying the speakers and learning a lot about ourselves, even though we thought we knew each other.
We're learning great communication skills and how to implement them in our marriage. So we're looking forward to doing some homework tonight.
Doesn't mean that you have a bad marriage because you come to something like this. It just means that you're committed, and it means that you're committed to learning more about yourself and more about life and more about how God's going to help you.
And we are just admiring this National Post headline, A Hero of Love, that you mentioned, your dad. And what a great example that lives on. You know, not everybody has that in their home. Coming from a broken home culture, saying that it's okay to commit adultery or find happiness elsewhere. If you're not happy, leave the marriage. All these things, you know, it is a bit of a war, you know, to stay in a relationship. And I know you guys do a lot of different things to strengthen them. Tell me a little bit about different ways that you're kind of fighting for people to keep their marriages strong.
Well, part of what we do at Heart to Heart, as we said, our seminars, we do a lot of events. We do date night where we bring couples together to have fun together, but then to strengthen that friendship bond that is so important in a relationship. We just did the Our Time Women's Conference here at Crossroads. Cheryl, you participated with us. Heart to Heart was so excited because we know the woman in the home is the anchor, quite often, the anchor of the home, emotionally, spiritually, physically, and we need to strengthen her, and so that's part of what we do.
And some events would include some trips.
Yes.
We have a Christmas coach tour to Lancaster, Pennsylvania coming up in December. And
you're invited if you want to join
our
us.
website at h2hliving.ca.
Those are incredible tours, by the way. I've been on them.
You have.
The Lancaster production.
For the Miracle of
amazing.
Christmas
At
production.
the Sight
it
and
is-
Sound
it
Theater
amazing.
is amazing. Yeah.
So we're looking at next fall doing a couples cruise and that kind of thing. So there's lots of activity that just kind of reinforce the importance of marriage and doing things together and having God at the center of it.
That's the most important thing. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. If people want to find out more, it's h2hliving.ca. All the information's there, right?
Number 2, hliving.ca.
Yes, that's a good clarification too. Yes, absolutely. Thanks so much, guys.
Thanks, Cheryl.